A journal, or diary, is a collection of a person's thoughts and experiences. A place where they can write on a regular basis. We can read journals of famous people throughout history to gain insight into the time period in which they lived. You are going to watch a short video about a girl named Anne Frank. As you watch, think about what we can learn from her journal about the time period in which she lived. Anne Frank was born on June 12, 1929, to a Jewish German family. In 1933, her father moved her family to Amsterdam, where he felt they'd be safer from Nazi persecution. After they arrived, they found that Amsterdam was no longer a safe city for them. They were forced into hiding. The Frank family moved into the attic of the building that housed her father's spice company. They allowed another family, the Van Pels, to move in with them. A few months later, a man named Fritz Pfeffer was invited to hide with them as well.
Today I have nothing but dismal and depressing news to report. Our many Jewish friends and acquaintances are being taken away in droves. The Gestapo is treating them very roughly and transporting them in cattle cars to Westerbork, the big camp in Drenthe, to which they're sending all the Jews.
When they first moved into the secret annex, Anne was only 13 years old. Unable to play outside with friends, she wrote in her diary as a way of expressing her thoughts and feelings.
At night in bed, I see myself alone in a dungeon without father and mother, or I'm roaming the streets, or the annex is on fire, or they come in the middle of the night to take us away, and I crawl under my bed in desperation. I see everything as if it were actually taking place, and to think it might all happen soon.
After nearly 2 years in hiding, the Nazis discovered the secret annex. The families living there were arrested and sent to concentration camps. Anne and her sister were separated from their parents. Both girls became ill with typhus while living in these harsh conditions. Anne's father, Otto, was the only one that survived. Upon his return to Amsterdam, Otto found his daughter's diary. He recognized the historical value of these personal documents and had them published. Anne Frank's Diary of a Young Girl has been read by millions of people throughout the world. Now, let's take a closer look at how we can learn about history from Anne's diary. Anne shares her personal experiences about life in Amsterdam by writing in her journal.
It's sweltering. Everyone is huffing and puffing, and in this heat I have to walk everywhere. Only now do I realize how pleasant a streetcar is. But we Jews are no longer allowed to make use of this luxury. Our own 2 feet are good enough for us.
She described not only what she felt and experienced, but also what was happening in her community. This is a personal account of history. When the Franks first went into hiding, Anne wrote in her journal,
So much has happened. It's as if the whole world has suddenly turned upside down. I'm still alive. And that's the main thing, Father says. I'm alive, all right. But don't ask where or how.
Here, Anne shares her experience, but realizes even her diary isn't a safe place to admit her family's secret. From Anne's thoughts and feelings, we get a glimpse of what life was like for the thousands of families attempting to hide from the Nazis.
At night in bed, I see myself alone in a dungeon without father and mother, or I'm roaming the streets, or the annex is on fire, or they come in the middle of the night to take us away, and I crawl under my bed in desperation. I see everything as if it were actually taking place, and to think it might all happen soon.
As the situation worsened, Anne wrote,
Today I have nothing but dismal and depressing news to report. Our many Jewish friends and acquaintances are being taken away in droves. The Gestapo is treating them very roughly and transporting them in cattle cars to Westerbork, the big camp in Drenthe, to which they're sending all the Jews.
From this, we learn that Anne was aware of what was happening to other Jews, and that if her family was caught, they would share the same fate. There was one positive outcome from Anne's ordeal. By publishing Anne's diary, Otto Frank ensured that this story of persecution would never be forgotten. A journal is a collection of a person's thoughts and experiences.